shows are a lot of fun, but some people are not meant to be behind the desk. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Maddie, and these are the top 10 talk show hosts who got fired from their own show. At number 10, Kris Jenner. Simply titled Kris, the momager of the Kardashian clan, starred in a 6-week test run of her talk show. Not only did it receive terrible reviews, but it was canceled before it was even picked up. Frank Sciascia, Senior VP and President of Programming at Fox TBS, admitted he knew by the time the test ended, the show was not going to work. He claimed Jenner was uninteresting, trying to capitalize on her own name, and didn't have the ability to entertain. When the cameras were on, she looked like a deer in headlights, she had trouble reading the prompter, and the conversations she would have with her guests almost felt like she was trying to take some kind of survey with the most basic questions like, where are you from and what's your hobby? He did praise her hard work, but ultimately the project was a flop from the start. In fact, the studio later received hate mail aimed towards Kris, claiming her show would have been one of the worst moves for the Kardashian family ever. At number 9, Martin Short. Martin Short has had 2 shows with his name attached in his lifetime. The more popular and longer lasting of the 2 was his 1-season talk show, The Martin Short Show, which was a simple late-night talk show with a few sketches between A and B. The short-lived predecessor was a sketch show of the same name. The premise was Marty playing himself in a sitcom about his day-to-day before going on stage as a talk show host. Very meta indeed. As you may expect, the format was a little weird. Studio execs were complaining that it felt like a rip-off of Seinfeld with a bit too much time spent on the talk show portion of things. After 3 episodes were filmed and edited, a test audience was brought in and the decision was unanimous: it sucked. At number 8, Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada and her husband Will have made headlines in the news several times over the years, usually for something bad like infidelity or face smacking, but earlier this year it was announced that her Facebook talk show, Red Table Talk, was going to be canceled following several years online. The decision was made following the distribution company's shift to no longer produce independent content. Despite having a pretty solid slew of guests, the topics tended to drift into the too much information realm, with her sit down with her husband Will Smith being one of the most revealing episodes. The show featured Jada, her mother Adrienne Banfield Norris, and her daughter Willow Smith discussing various topics, with mom Jada being the main host when it came time to the heavy one-on-ones. Jada herself has been shaded in controversy over the past few years as infidelity rumors seem to be brought up more and more. Her show was taken off the internet, and despite trying to find a new home elsewhere, it's looking like the show will never see the light of day again. At number 7, Sarah Silverman. Sarah is a very popular stand-up comedian. These days, she's out on the picket lines of the SAG strike with her fellow performers, but a few years ago, she was sitting cozy on the set of her very own talk show called I Love You America. The show was aimed to give Sarah an outlet to poke fun at the current political and emotional landscape of the country. She would also from time to time bring on various celebrity guests to discuss their past and share stories. There was a lot going on for Sarah, whether it was connecting with firemen in Texas over making accidents in their pants, or going on a blind date with a conservative lobbyist in DC. She was never holding back. The show was actually pretty well received among Sarah's fans, but the executives over at Hulu did not appreciate the content of the show. Apparently, big budget studios don't like it when you get politics involved. The show only lasted 1 season, including 21 episodes, and it was nominated for an Emmy in 2018 for Outstanding Variety Sketch Series before its untimely demise. At number 6, TJ Miller. Before being accused of misconduct by several women, Miller was on the hot streak, starring in Silicon Valley and the Deadpool franchise. In 2017, he was given a green light to host an 8-episode talk series called The Gorburger Show, but unlike normal talk shows, this was meant to act as both a talk show and a straight-up TV series. Miller voiced a massive blue puppet monster named Gorburger. The alien takes a Japanese talk show hostage as he learns what it means to be a true human from various celebrity guests, including Tig Notaro, Larry King, Rob Corddry, and Reggie Watts. The show was created after the success of the short sketch series of the same name on the Funny or Die YouTube channel. In fact, it ran for 2 seasons on YouTube before being picked up for television. The concept was neat and had clearly been working online. However, the show was canceled after only 8 episodes due to the lack of star power they were able to land on the show. Some say the show was canceled due to the allegations brought against Miller, as the cancellation announcement came only 1 week after the news began to make headlines. At number 5, Khloe Kardashian. The Kardashian family have tried many tactics over the years to increase their never-ending flow of cash. Like when Khloe decided she wanted to do something outside of keeping up with the Kardashians while still being her real authentic self. An online media outlet called FYI greenlit a talk series starring Khloe and her celebrity guests indulging in drinks while chatting, calling it Cocktails with Khloe, but with a K of course. She essentially created an environment where she could be paid to drink and chat with her friends, which is exactly what the show became. Unable to secure a list of celebrities, she forced her family to appear on the show along with several of her reality star friends, and some of her sisters even forced their friends to appear, like Snoop Dogg and Chrissy Teigen. Khloe acted as a producer of the series and would regularly clash with basically everyone on staff about what direction the show would go in. The drama, combined with the behavior of Khloe behind the scenes, caused them to cancel the show, releasing only 14 episodes of the planned 23. At number 4, George Lopez. George Lopez was once one of the most bankable men around. His comedic talents and eccentric personality made him instantly entertaining, so much so that he was given his own sitcom in the 90s, but we're here to talk about his talk show, Lopez Tonight. The show first aired in November 2009 on TBS. It actually didn't feature all that many celebrity guests and mainly relied on audience interaction and George's wild energy. He did have some guests appear, with Kobe Bryant and Ellen DeGeneres being the most notable. Unfortunately, at the end of 2010, there was a massive feud between The Tonight Show and Conan O'Brien that caused him to quit the series and sign on with TBS to create his own show. This meant that Lopez would be pushed from a primetime 11 p.m. slot to the less exciting midnight spot. This move caused a steep decline in ratings, and as of August 2011, they decided to cancel the show entirely. The short-lived show will be remembered as a good time, as the decline only came from the time change. At number 3, Sharon Osbourne. A couple of years ago on the popular talk show The Talk, host Sheryl Underwood and Sharon Osbourne began to discuss the topic of race. They were talking about the recent firing of Sharon's personal friend Piers Morgan from Good Morning Britain over a series of comments he made live on air. Sharon went off and began aggressively defending her friend, asking Sheryl what Piers said specifically that was racist. She then went on to say that she was being put in an electric chair, and due to her connection to Piers, that she herself must agree with his statements. She went on to clarify that she did not support his comments per se, but she did support his right to free speech, but he used that free speech to say offensive things, so maybe don't support him. She then asked Sheryl over and over again what she had done wrong. What has she done or said? Sheryl then signed off for a commercial break before Sharon let out some choice expletives. When they returned, the tension almost seemed worse and the conversation continued to escalate. Not long after the altercation, Sharon was asked to exit the show to avoid further backlash. At number 2, Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien. In 2004, NBC announced that late-night host Conan O'Brien would be taking over as the full-time host of The Tonight Show, replacing Jay Leno in 5 years' time. When those 5 years passed and it was time to upgrade, NBC did not want to lose Leno to another network, so they gave him his own talk show in a primetime spot. The Jay Leno Show failed to capture an audience, and The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien was not an instant rating smash. By the early 2010s, NBC had dismissed Conan and threw Jay back into the fold. Then Jay became public enemy number 1 because people thought he was the reason Conan lost his job. Oprah invited Leno to come onto the show to share his side of the story, and he didn't do much to save face. He wrote the entire thing off as a dramatic mess and then decided to play the victim card, claiming he felt sucker punched by backlash. He also admitted that when he announced his eventual resignation, that he was 100% lying to everyone's face. He then argued very passive-aggressively that NBC was right because under Conan's poor ratings, it marked, in his words, the first time in 60 years of The Tonight Show that it would have lost money. A poll was conducted on Oprah's website, and the consensus was that 96% of the audience hated Leno and missed Conan. Eventually, Leno was replaced by Jimmy Fallon, and Conan's show, Conan, was a massive hit. And at number 1, Lilly Singh. Lilly got her start on YouTube in 2010, but quickly became a very successful woman both in film and on television, being casted in projects like Bad Moms, Ice Age, and Dr. Cabby. In 2019, Lilly was offered a chance to host her own late-night talk show, A Little Late with Lilly Singh. The show was meant to be a follow-up to the popular show Last Call with Carson Daly, with Chrissy Teigen being offered the job at first, which she turned down, so NBC then gave the job to Lilly. The moment the show premiered, things started going downhill fast. While fans of Lilly were tuning in and loving it, anyone else on the planet was annoyed, confused, and a little bit angry. The first episode has been summarized by thousands of reviews as "White men bad, Lilly is bi, end of show." Her show received massive amounts of hate, quickly garnering a 1-star review of 10 on IMDb, something I have literally never seen while researching a topic. The hate continued towards Lilly for 2 more seasons before before she announced the show was being canceled. She simultaneously announced a deal with Netflix, setting herself up to star in a new show.